Hi, I'm Kevin Dawson, principal of Green Hill High School. They told me I was going to be the principal of Green Hill High School in November prior to COVID or a tornado, so I was really excited.
I'm joined today by new Green Hill High School principal Kevin Dawson. I know everybody's excited, including this guy right here, to open up that school in August of 2020. Thank you so much for joining us.
I kind of expected everything to be a normal school opening. It was not.
It affected me in a huge way that year. Everything I thought I knew about leading a school was pretty much non-existent that year.
Opening up a building that wasn't quite done yet was bizarre.
The biggest negative impact was on our CTE programs. Those teachers didn't get in those classrooms until a couple of weeks into January.
When we got to Green Hill High School, we walked in and the theater was not done. There were parts of the building that were still being finished, and when I walked in here, it was a big cement block.
We didn't even get to be in here until the showcase happened. We'd never rehearsed in here until like 2 weeks before we started performing it.
My room wasn't done until after spring break. So a lot of my students had to kind of suffer with being in the science lab on the 3rd floor to dancing out here in the commons.
The building had just got done being built, right? And I think we even had to start 2 weeks later. We got in, and then the next day was our first day with students. So we barely knew what classrooms we were in. And then everybody was here the next day. And I always felt bad because kids would ask me where things were, and I was like, I don't know. I barely found this room.
Starting school with COVID going on, I only had half the students here on a given day. And then the students that I had here, we were all masked up back then, if you remember.
Things were so new and so unsure. We're masking, we're taking temperatures, we're constantly running numbers. How many students are in school, how many teachers are in school.
It was different for the first year with COVID because AB days, classes were split up. So having to put together a dance showcase with students that had never seen each other was quite difficult.
The major part of band is that things happen together all at the same time. So being in Zoom and separated and internet lag and all of that made the music making process near impossible to do.
Choir in and of itself is all about unity and learning to sing together and learning to walk through things together. So we didn't get to accomplish any of those purposes on a hybrid schedule, on remote, on any of those things.
The hybrid learning experience kind of felt like diet high school, you know what I mean? You're not getting the full experience.
We didn't see them very often. And I was like, how are they going to remember from one time to the next what we even talked about the last time?
It definitely made it harder for kids to learn in 9th grade as we were still transitioning into full-time school.
I couldn't retain any information from the days we were not at school. It was just impossible to do anything with any sort of cohesion.
It was hard to make friends because half of us were going these 2 days a week, and then the other half were going the other ones, and having to wear masks all the time.
Being hidden behind a mask was hard, and not getting to see the personality and the facial expressions from a dancer.
In theater, you lose your facial expressions. Also, that kind of interferes with the microphone system.
I like to smile and interact with students in the hallway, but that looks weird when most of your face is covered.
Teaching is a job, especially teaching English, where you're talking so much and relying on facial expressions and being able to read people's faces and not being able to fully express definitely made the job more difficult.
COVID was definitely a lot. I mean, it was nice that everyone was going through it at the same time. It's not like I was all alone and I was like, I don't know how to do this. Everyone was going through it.
Everyone's in the same boat, so everyone else knows exactly how it feels too.
It was a struggle, but it was exciting. It's all new. Everybody was going through it.
Kind of got through it together, and we were all learning every day was a new adventure.
I think that really just made us who we are today, with the hybrid class moving into, being Green Hill as we know it today.
The Devious Licks, that was a quick introduction to being principal of Green Hill High School.
It was really frustrating because, we're in the middle of COVID and we can't wash our hands because students were stealing soap dispensers.
Within a couple of days, there was no soap to be found and people were freaking out.
Yeah, it's immaturity and dumb. And then our role in that was keeping a presence in the restrooms, watching camera footage nonstop, narrowing it down to figure out who was doing it.
People are going to be devious. It's going to happen. As long as nobody's getting hurt. I'll chuckle occasionally.
And I have never seen people stealing soap. And so if you're a soap stealer, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you used the soap. I hope you're clean, and I hope you're proud that we got on the news, because I've never dealt with that and I'll probably never deal with it again.
The trash can fire is another example of just students struggling to reacclimate to normal life around a lot of other people.
They were saying that there was smoke in the Commons bathroom. Me and Mr. Nashan, of course, go down there and there's kids coming out and going back in and they're just running around like the world's coming to an end.
So I get on the radio, somebody says something about a fire in the boys' bathroom. And I turn the corner to the Commons and there's smoke starting to billow out of the bathroom.
As we did go in there, and it was filled up full of smoke because, of course, the trash can was on fire and it had melted the trash can along with everything in it.
But that was another quite annoying thing in the spirit of all things when our school started.
As a whole, y'all are so great. We're very lucky to go to school where we can come in and day out and feel safe. And the behaviors and things that we do see are really minimal, to the point that something like a trash can fire is like, oh my God, whoa. We're really lucky that we don't experience those things on a regular basis.
It's a silly day and they made a silly decision, and we laugh about it now, but I wasn't laughing then.
Yeah, I was pretty annoyed that day. I had to go take my spot out on the railing and reassess my life choices for sure. Y'all's sophomore year, getting to really see the students take off with things was impressive.
It really felt like I had a year taken off. So sophomore year was go, go, go.
It was nice to have a regular routine and have them at school all the time and know what to expect as much as you can day to day working in a school.
It just felt normal. It was just going back into regular school.
Going back was nice, and I was super excited just to have the normal high school experience.
I was relieved, honestly, to get back into school and everything. I was really excited just to be around other human beings.
You asked about seeing them with masks on and then seeing them without masks. I can remember they would come in and I would not know who they were, even if they had come in quite frequently, just because taking a mask off made all the difference in the world.
It was a little interesting, kind of seeing students and being like, oh, that's what the bottom of your face looks like.
And whenever people took off their mask, it's someone you don't know is that's not what you expected them to look like.
And I had to realize that certain people were certain people. I had no idea who they were at first.
It was a relief because it was one piece of normalcy.
It was one less thing to worry about now. I didn't have to worry about the kids wearing their masks. I didn't have to worry about mine.
You got to know everybody a little better. I felt like it was kind of the first day, the real first day of Green Hill High School, when all the masks were coming off.
I was very focused on the culture of Green Hill, what the school was going to be about, and it being something that we could truly be proud of, and something that students really understood that they're the value, they are why we're here.
And I was obviously super excited about the idea of a brand new school, building that culture.
It was a new school. It's like you're building the hill, and I love the idea of getting to build the hill.
I know we say build the hill, but it really does mean something here, and it's not just a cliche quote.
It's just neat that everything's so new history books aren't written.
Green Hill High School early on, it was such a unique experience because there was nothing and there was no precedents that were set.
That was really exciting, just to kind of start fresh.
I think the community and the culture that we've created here is amazing. It's a great thing to be a part of and see it from the very beginning coming up to the end. It's kind of crazy.
I think there's definitely a school culture here and a level of care that is modeled with our group of kids and the senior class.
I don't know, it's just a special place, and it's a special place that has special people in it, and we have a great environment here.
The effort put in by the teachers, the effort put in by the students. You know, football is a great example. To come in, and we lost to Siegel, who I don't think had won any games the year before, or not many. And so I was like, okay, this is what it's going to be like. And then we just steamroll people for the next 11 weeks. It was super exciting.
By year 2, I felt like we were starting to grab some ground. You know, football had some big wins, went pretty deep in the playoffs.
We won a lot of games that year in some pretty wild fashions, and made a really historic run, I guess, for just the county in general.
To have this kind of success early is probably unprecedented.
You want to talk about beating MJ the first year?
Oh my gosh. We go into the game against Mount Juliet that first year that we were eligible. For most of the game, we were not in control of anything. Like, we were getting beat. The way that we came back and won that game with no time left when we were out of control of it most of the game, I feel like was the most soul-crushing way to lose a game for the other team.
That was the most exciting football game to ever go to.
That game is so huge. I've never seen a high school football environment quite like that game.
Everyone was there, and it was only the second year that the school had been open.
I know kids that they might not go to all the football games, but you better believe they're going to be at the Mount Juliet Green Hill game.
Beating MJ was like when you just finished a bottle of water and you're not even thirsty, you don't even want no more water. It was like
It felt like you finally got a good grade on a test, or you finally asked out a girl and she said yes.
No, this is what it's like. It's like when your parents ask you to do chores and you're like, I already did it. And then you just go about your day. And you're like the man of the house now, you know?
It was something I didn't sleep that night.
I've never freaked out that much in my life. That game was probably the most memorable game I've ever been a part of.
That's a great example of seeing what we were able to do, and the student sections were impressive. They were fun.
The student section is definitely fire.
The student section's always been big and rowdy, and that's what I think helps a lot of our sports.
I was in the section pretty close up when we beat MJ. It was pretty cool because it was the first time we had an actual high school experience like that, because COVID was before that.
Having a sense of community that is behind each school obviously goes a long way in looking at the amount of tension and the amount of eyes that are on that one game.
I hope people just appreciate it, enjoy it, and of course we want to continue that, but that's a really special thing. So I don't take it for granted at all, and I hope nobody at Green Hill does.
Each student that drives to Green Hill High School has their own assigned parking spot, and this is Gavin Coles. But there's no vehicle here today. Instead, it's filled with flowers and messages from friends about how he'll be missed.
We actually lost a student the year before, but with COVID and all that, it was kind of a small group that knew. And so when we lost Gavin the next year, it was during school, during the school year. He was very involved. He was a senior at the time.
Over Thanksgiving weekend, Gavin was in a motorcycle accident on Central Pike.
He was a very fun guy and very positive as far as in the classroom.
He was always just outgoing. He was always had energy.
He's always smiling. He's always, keeping that positive attitude.
I definitely saw how it affected a lot of the other students and a lot of people at our school, and it's really sad that something like that could happen.
So that was really, really tough. But I do think that throughout the remainder of the year, there were a lot of opportunities to celebrate Gavin's life and to come together as a community and support one another.
Gavin's best friend was in my classroom. And so Gavin was either in there with my son or he was in there with his friend. Every day after lunch, they would come in and he would rearrange my room and he would hide things. Last time that Gavin was in my room, he took a peppermint and he put it on top of the monitor. We left it there. And so when we came back, Gavin was gone. I couldn't take it down, and it's still there. And the date on the calendar that he would hide from me as his date that he went to heaven, because that was what his friends asked me to do. So each year kids will come in and tell me, your calendar's wrong. And it's just a way to spread what Gavin did for my son, for me, for anybody that he came in contact.
The following year, we have another student in another automobile-related accident.
So Ambria was in my Spanish 1 class. The thing that I loved about her was that she lit up a room, like her smile and her laugh, and she was so silly and goofy. She was really a light to other people, and she was very intelligent and very quick, and I enjoyed the time that I got to spend with her.
There were a lot of events, there were a lot of opportunities, there were a lot of shows of love and appreciation for the impact that she made on the lives around her.
It was really cool to see how everyone was instantly able to come together for her.
Every year, that we have a tragedy or a student death, it's always heartbreaking and emotional, and we really feel for you guys when those things happen. It's something that we wouldn't wish on anybody. The only bright side is that it helps us celebrate our peers and remember them in a really special way, and it brings you guys together, and you get to start really special traditions and the tournaments that we've done, or the foundations or scholarships that have been started.
Death impacts everybody differently. There's always look forward and look into the light.
Just remember the good times. When you have those moments, don't take life for granted.
Junior year, we have our first team state championship. The softball team went on a run.
After starting 3-2, they won 40 in a row. It was the best high school softball team I've ever seen.
I think when you talk about managing like the run that we went on last year with 40 wins, you talk about your personnel. And I think that our personnel last year, we had a great team.
You don't win with good players, you win with good people. And I think that this is proof in the pudding.
When we have great players that we're putting on the field and we have great people that are coming together, that's when you're successful. And I think that we were able to build from the ground up with our kids. They were put in the ring of fire their first year, and we took some lumps and some bruises, and ultimately it got us to where we wanted to be last year. And we were playing in the last game of the year, and we won that game because of the adversity we saw early on.
It was a lot of fun, especially to go on that stretch where they didn't lose for months. That's something that's pretty rare, and Coach Sanders did a really good job with that team.
Stockwell drives it to left center. Is this in? It is gone! The Lady Hawks are Class 4A state champions on the 18th homer hit this year by the freshman Avery Stockwell. Go crazy!
Well, going into junior year, I did start thinking a little bit more about college.
The stress of, I have to figure out what I'm doing soon, and I have to figure out where I'm going.
For me, junior year was definitely like the hardest year, because that's the year that you have to take like all of your major classes. You have to get everything prepared for college. You're taking the ACT.
Academically, that was one of the toughest years, is junior year, because with the ACT and everything.
That's when everything started to become super duper real for me, and I was like, whoa. I'm gonna be an adult.
It's been so good to see people mature and to see people grow and to see the way that the class has not only started to kind of care about each other, but care about the school.
As a junior and senior, I kind of started to develop this pride. I am from Green Hill, and I'm a representative of this school that we've been building for 4 years.
This group of seniors was our first group to walk in as 9th graders.
You get to take that ownership. You've been here for the first 4 years. You got to start as a freshman, and you got to build the programs and build the classes, and you get to leave behind a legacy.
It's been really, really fun to see everybody go from these little baby 9th graders to these grown people who are deciding what the next journey of their life will be.
The class of 2024 is different and special because you guys have really overcome a lot and seen a lot.
They've been through a lot more because they've been through having to share their school, number one, and through COVID.
The class of 2024 has an incredible heart for being a community of people who have weathered challenges.
I think the class of 2024 has learned a lot along the 4 years that they've been here.
This class specifically is one of the most kind-hearted, down-to-earth group of students.
This senior class has just so much charisma
and they're so fun to cut up with and talk with.
I've really grown to love y'all's class very much. They invigorate us and they inspire us to do a good job for them.
I don't think people thought much of this bunch. And when you see what that they have accomplished, I think they more than exceeded expectations.
They were 100% Green Hill Hawks. I mean, this is the first group that came all 4 years.
I guess it's just cool because we were the first group that went all the way through, so like we'll always be in the history of the school.
I think we're going to remember it forever. Like people are going to be like, oh yeah, that was the class of 2024. We got to go all through all 4 years.
You are the first class to be here all 4 years, and no one else is going to be able to say that.
Very, very thankful for this group. They have established a lot.
It's been a really cool 4 years, and we've had a blast, and we've done a lot of really cool things.
My advice for the class of 2024 is be brave and go out into the world. You have everything you need to be a wonderful and strong, successful human.
Do not let the world make you feel like you have to change. You can be exactly who you are.
Unapologetically be yourself.
Discover what you were made to do and do it well.
Be true to who you are. Use the lessons and experiences that you had in high school to develop yourself as an individual doing the things that you love to do.
When you graduate high school, you should continue to try to learn every day something new.
Live in the moment and really soak up this experience right after high school.
Definitely enjoy your time that you have left. It goes very quickly.
Slow down and appreciate where you are right here, right now.
Enjoy each and every day, appreciate each and every day.
And just live each day like it's new if you can. Be as present as possible.
Work hard for whatever you want to do, and it's going to change. And it may branch out in a different direction you never expected, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Be open-minded and open to change.
You're going to find so many new things out when you go to college or into work. Just be open to whatever life brings you.
Don't just think it's going to be handed to you. You have to work hard. You have to work for those great things.
If you put your mind to it, you can do it. Everything's obtainable.
Never settle for anything less than what you really, really want.
Go out and try to achieve big things. It's okay to fail. Failure, if done correctly, is where you grow the most.
Keep an open mind and learn from everybody that you come into contact with.
Have courage and be kind.
Find something that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life.
I very much enjoyed all 4 of my years with the class of 2024. I wish all of you the best of luck. I hope that if you see me out and about in your life in the future, that you are willing to say hi, because I'd love to see you guys doing well and making an impact on the world around you.
Cool.
Probably a good one to get up and walk off on. What sound does a hawk make?
There we go.